India already indicating they prefer a lower price, but also the US administration has made a clear statement in that direction. And lately, we have seen China tapping the strategic oil reserves to ensure also here that their message is very clear. At the moment, however, the oil market is still undersupplied. And normally what happens is when inventories are falling, it's a positive price indicator.
Gio, before we get into the hurricane impact, tell us how concerned should traders be about that strategic petroleum reserve sale out of China? Are they going to flood the market?
Let's put it that way. There is a lot of uncertainty about how much they want to release. We only know that they want to release soon 7.3 million barrels. Put that number into perspective, that's less than 1 day of imports when it comes to China, and it's half of the Chinese daily consumption. So in that context, it's a little bit limited. Also worth highlighting is strategic oil reserves releases work best when we have a temporary disruption like a hurricane. Production falls temporarily, then it recovers, you fill that gap. If you have a market in deficit, then it's like a central bank trying to defend their own currency from weakness. The Chinese have a lot of ammunition. They hold elevated inventories. The data is still unknown, but there is also a limit to that one. And when inventories keep falling like FX reserves, market participants tend to be a little bit nervous. So short term, it can limit the upside, but if the market stays longer undersupplied, then it's something that the bulls will enjoy.
Okay, so I think that's going to be important to watch. I also wanted to ask you about the hurricane impact, of course, as well. Nicholas dealing a blow, but certainly not as bad as feared. And at the same time, a lot of the region still offline as a result of Ida. How would you assess the impact of Nicholas, and how soon before we see the full cleanup of Ida actually helping to bring the industry back to some kind of normal operating status?
Maybe first on Ida, the impact is much bigger than everyone expected. We were looking for supply disruption in the range of 10 to 15 million barrels originally. That's more or less the same size of Hurricane Laura last year. At the moment, we are approaching 30 million barrels, and there are still some assets being shut in due to the storm, as companies are still making assessment on the damage side. So it will be one of the most devastating hurricanes when it comes to oil production. Nicholas, in contrast, has moved a little bit more sideways, didn't directly impact oil production, only small assets have been shut in. And there were some fear that some refinery might be in the way, but at the moment it looks like the impact is more modest, but we need to watch that. But essentially, Ida was a very strong hurricane.